one of the first women to accuse Roy Moore of sexual misconduct when she was just 14 years old, says the embattled Senate candidate took away her innocence, scarring her for decades. "I was a 14-year-old child trying to play in an adult's world," Lee Korfman said Monday on NBC News Today. And he was 32 years old. Korfman previously said Moore approached her at an Alabama courthouse in 1979, and later took her to his home where he touched the teenager. "It took away a lot of the specialness of a lot of interactions with men," Korfman said. "It took some trust away. It allowed me to delve into things I wouldn't have otherwise." Moore, who is running to fill the Senate seat vacated by Attorney General Jeff Sessions, has denied he committed the act, and that he knows accuser. Korfman said the firebrand conservative preyed on her at a vulnerable age. He would pick her up around the corner from her Gadsden, Alabama, home without her mother's knowledge. "I wouldn't exactly call it a date. I would call it a meet," Korfman said Monday. "At 14, I was not dating. At 14, I was not able to make those kinds of choices." It was their second meeting at Moore's home that the real aggression began, she said. "He basically laid out some blankets on the floor of his living room and proceeded to seduce me, I would say," Korfman recalled. Korfman said she had to strip down to her underwear. "It was nothing like the romance novels the then 14-year-old was reading. I was expecting candlelight and roses," she said. "What I got was very different." Moore touched Korfman over her underwear, she recalled, but she pulled back when the then prosecutor tried to have her touch him. "She got dressed and went home. Anytime Moore called after that she made an excuse not to see him." At least 7 other women have accused Moore of sexual misconduct when they were teens in the late 1970s. The future Alabama Chief Justice would also frequent a Gadsden, Alabama, mall in the late 1970s, several accusers have said. He tried dating teenage store workers, some of whom would hide when Moore walked into their businesses. Moore's supporters have questioned why Korfman and the other women waited almost 40 years before speaking out publicly. Korfman, speaking to Today, countered that her loved ones have known all along, and she had made the choice not to speak until she was recently contacted by the Washington Post. In 2000, she even sat in the parking lot of an Alabama courthouse, toiling over whether she should walk in and confront him. "I wanted to walk into his office and say, 'Hey, remember me? You need to knock this stuff off,'" she said. But she decided not to. Instead, the single mom sat her elementary and junior high school-aged children down, explained to some degree what happened and gave them the decision. "Ultimately," she said, "they felt as though they would be shamed for it." Korfman, a self-identified Republican voter, also denied accusations that she was paid to make the accusations. "Coming forward has actually cost her time at work and money." "I have no tickets to Tahiti," she said. "My bank account has not flourished. If anything, it's gone down." The allegations have marred Moore's Senate bid. A recently published Fox News poll showed Moore is trailing Democrat Doug Jones in the December 12 special election. President Trump, who backed then-Senator Luther Strange in a September runoff, said he'd support Moore after his primary victory. But the commander-in-chief has failed to do so, and White House officials indicated he's troubled by the allegations against Moore.